All right, so a lot of consternation around this new tax collected at source that will now be imposed for all international transactions on a credit card if you're traveling abroad. This is excluding education, and this is up to the tune of $250,000. So anything that you spend up to the tune of $250,000 will come under what is called the light remittance scheme. It will be charged at 20% for a credit card transaction. You can, of course, reclaim this as a rebate while you file your taxes at the end of the year, but when you make the transaction, you will have to pay a 20% extra tax. So let me now go across to Mohandas Pai, Chairman of Manipal Global Education. You've written a very eloquent piece also, Mr. Pai, today about why you believe this is a regressive tax. Can you elaborate for our viewers why you believe that this is a regressive tax? The government is saying that there was a lot of monies going abroad through credit card transactions, which they believe need to be taxed.
Zaka, let me say this. In India, honest taxpayers get the short end of the stick. If you disclose your full income, you have to pay surcharge. Your tax liability goes up. There is a lot of compliances that happen to you. If you're a dishonest taxpayer, nothing happens to you. You go laughing all the way to the bank. That's a very bad culture that is come in this country through the finance ministry and the tax authorities. Now, this is one more instance of how honest people are being penalized. Let me explain. The government says a lot of people are misusing this $250,000 to send money outside. Many of them don't pay tax. Many of them do it. And it's very right. 2 years ago in Bangalore, the finance minister had come to talk about the budget and announced they're going to have 5%. I had told them, why are you doing this? They told me every year 16 billion to 20 billion goes outside on LRS for various reasons. They said from our search, we found half of them or more are people who are not taxpayers, people who do not have a possibly PAN at that point of time or something, and they are household help, minors, all kind of things. So the government has a very legitimate concern whether money laundering is taking place, money is going out using Benami names and all that, which is very legitimate. So I suggested to them at that point of time, why don't you pass a rule to say that TCS will be applicable only on those people who are not filed returns for the last 3 years with PAN. Okay. Others don't have to do it. Don't bash everybody. Of course, being tax officials and come to just to talk to people, they ignore it. Now, my suggestion is very simple. Government has a problem. It is a real problem. Let's accept it. Why don't you have a 2% TCS? Point number one. And two, since it's for a foreign credit card, have a rule issued by RBI to say no Indian will get a foreign credit card which can allow him to spend more than $10,000 a year unless they file returns for 3 years and are given the PAN number and given their Aadhaar number to tax authorities. Let them prove that, and then you can get a normal card. Otherwise, restrict the card to $10,000. It will solve the problem. Now, why bash people for 20%? Let me explain to you. A large number of people are retired people who don't have income from business. They accumulated money. They want to go abroad. Now, they go abroad in April, May. They have to pay the 20%. They may not even have to pay tax. They have to wait 1.5 years. Yes, tax refunds are coming early. It's all true. But why should you wait and penalize them? And then there are a lot of people who may not have the income. For example, I want to send $2.5 lakh to my son who is staying abroad. And I've saved up the money and paid tax for the last many years. I want to send it to him. I have a right. Why are you penalizing $50,000 for me, 40 lakhs to be blocked, and I should apply for a refund and get it later? Why harass me? I paid taxes. I got everything. If you want to track people, put a 1% TCS, a 2% TCS. You got all the details in the bank. This is an overkill. And this is a source of harassment for taxpayers.
But Mr. Pai, the government's contention is two things. One, I believe this rule already exists for debit card transactions, and you couldn't have a differential where debit card transactions are being 1 minute, if I may just finish. That debit card transactions are being taxed at a certain rate, and then credit card transactions are not. That is one argument that they're putting forth. And two, I believe the clarification statement from the finance ministry yesterday said, for education, this does not apply, for education purposes.
No. Dhaka, for education above 7 lakhs, it is 5%. Why charge 5% for what? Why are you charging 5% to people who, for example, you're a school teacher, you have saved up money, 20 lakhs, you want to send to kid to go to some college, the lifetime ambition. You know, You charging them 5%. Why this harassment has to stop, Zaka? If the government has got a problem of tracing people who send, charge 1 or 2% nominal. Let them file a return. Point number one. Point number two, if you're doing it for debit card, not credit card, bring it down for both. See, today, why are people not bothered about debit cards? I don't know. I don't have data. I don't think many people are using it. Correct? Debit card in foreign exchange, not many are using it. I don't know. I don't have data. Because government never releases data. Can the government release data to say 20 billion has gone out of which so many billion has gone in the name of minors and others who are not paid tax, who don't have PAN? Let them put out the data. No data comes. No data comes. Dhaka, there is a problem and a mindset. In the finance ministry, I think they believe everybody is a tax evader in this country. You know, Arun Jaitley told in Parliament, we don't have a culture of tax compliance. There are not many people filing returns more than 2 crores. So for those who are filing, I'll put extra surcharge. That means if you're honest and declare more income, you pay more tax. This kind of an attitude. And 2 budgets back, Zaka, 2 budgets back, they passed a law to reopen assessments based on information that's come to a tax officer for 16 years, from 6 years. From 16 years. Today the tax officer can say, I got this is information, somebody gave me anonymously, I'm going to do it. It is rent seeking. I know so many people, assessment have been reopened for no reason, then it is rent seeking. Why are you harassing people like this?
Okay,
where is the premium on honesty in this country?
One final word. The government's contention is also that A, the tax base has to increase. This is one way of ensuring compliance. And B, this has nothing to do with, people going abroad or wanting to go abroad and spend. You can happily do that. You claim returns. You claim refund when you're filing returns.
Dhaka, there's a very frivolous argument. We want to expand the tax base. Good, but expand the tax base by having 1% to trace people. If you collect 1%, you know who the person is. You know which bank account. You know this and everything else. So honest people who don't have to file for a refund will be saved all the problem. The government themselves say 50% file returns, we can track them. For the balance, you do that. Why do you want to harass everybody? Not one honest people together. Why do you want to harass everybody? This is a very frivolous argument, a very silly argument. It's the argument like Arun Jaitley had made in Parliament to say, people don't show full income, so those who show, I'm going to charge more surcharge. How can you be like this? Honest people declare the entire income, you pay more tax. Dishonest people don't declare, they go laughing to the bank. What kind of a country is this? Is it attitude, Zaka? The problem is the attitude. We have become victims and captives of tax authorities, and sadly, our MPs who are representatives are not protecting us, not looking at it. They're not looking at it, they're not protecting us like this.
Mr. Mohandas Pai, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for joining us and quite eloquently putting forth your views on why you believe this is a regressive tax move by the Finance Ministry. Let's see if there is a rollback on this. For the moment, thank you very much for joining us.